Okay, let's talk about this. This is a baby doll carrier that I'm going to be making today. I'm going to show you how to make this. It is fully lined, so the inside looks really nice. It's got a snap feature, but you could also do buttons or even Velcro. There is a little rickrack detail, which you can do up here. You can put little pockets if you want. You can really customize this however you want. I like the bag line version. It just looks better. But I'm going to show you how to make it lined and unlined. And I also encourage you to make it with leftover fabrics around your house. So I personally think the perfect amount of fabric for this would be an old pillowcase. This gingham fabric is from a duvet that I bought years ago. Let me go through next the supplies that you will need for this. Because I'm using a snap enclosure, I bought this just to show you guys what it is. These are size 16 snaps. You do need a hammer to attach this. The other thing that I like to do with this is I just cut everything out with pinking shears. I do have little embroidery snippers, thread, and I do need to make a bobbin. Straight pins. You may or may not need markers. I have rickrack and hem tape. You do not need either of these to complete this project, but it just kind of makes it cuter. A bodkin. This is got this little hook on the, can you see that tip here? This helps you turn the straps right side out. So I'll show you how to use that. You can just use a safety pin. Bottle of fray check here. Fray check is really good if you're gonna do buttonholes. Here I have a half of a yard of fabric, and I think what I'm gonna do today is just cut these out together. What you wanna do is make sure you have 4 inches across at least the entire top, because you're gonna use this to cut the straps out. Okay, so now I want to make my strap. We're gonna line up these edge pieces. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna mark 4 inches and 2 inches in little dots. 4 inches and 2 inches. 4 inches and 2 inches. Line up all my dots. First, I'm gonna press all of this. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna pop open this rickrack, and because I'm so efficient, I did cut out one that I'm making for a single layer. We're using 2 different fabrics. This is gonna just be 1 layer, and this is gonna be fully lined. So, but I wanna cut my rickrack out at the same time. 12 inches, cut both of them. This fabric that I have here, this Monsters Inc. fabric, it goes either up or down. So you wanna pick the side that's the prettiest. So these are the 2 pieces I cut. I want this to be the front. So I'm going to put the back piece away. And what I wanna do is tack this down. In the completed piece, you can see that these straps are behind the rickrack. When you stitch the rickrack to the front piece and flip it open with the strap on top, it'll open like this, and it'll be like that. So you want to sew the strap on top of this. So I like to do batch sewing. So I've got all my straps ready to go. I have all this pinned. This is ready. Now we need to pin this together. You want to separate front and back and front and back. So we'll do this one pair at a time. So this is my back and my front. And so the first thing we're gonna do is stitch these edges together, right sides together. And there are darts here. If you cut the dart, use that as your guide. I like batch working because I get so much more done a lot faster. So I'm all about batching. Okay, so these are all ready to sew. So make sure when you're sewing around here, you're sewing about a ½ inch is gonna be too big, probably. So I'm gonna do 3/8 of an inch seam, which should be enough. If you're not using a rickrack, it doesn't really matter. Whatever your lace is, you need to make sure that it's put in a place where you know the best place to sew your seam. So you have your piece and you want to flip it up, okay, and stitch your side seams together. So I've sewn all of my side seams together. Now we need to iron all of these side seams. I always do a little finger press first. We are now gonna just work on the single layer baby doll carrier. So what we need to do is attach the Okay. So I've got this pinned all the way around. I'm just gonna sew a top stitch. Okay. I'm remembering I forgot to do the end of this. When I do it really easy, I just fold this up and stitch it down. So I'm gonna do that really fast. Where's my hammer? And it is a snap. The next step is we want to finish these edges. What I do is I fold it in on itself. So this is just pinned with, I don't know, less than a ½ inch. I'm gonna go around and top stitch it, and then it's done. This is done. The straps are long. I forgot to trim them down. Normally I trim them down, which is good because I'm gonna have to trim them down on the other one. But this is it. It is single layer, so let's explore it a little bit. When you open up the legs, you can see that it's stitched. You can see the little hem. This is why I cut it with pinking shears, because the pinking shears will kind of stop that fraying process. When you open it up from the back, you can see, again, all the work that we did is visible in there, but it's fine. It's durable enough to carry around your little baby dolls. Let's work on this other one. So with right sides facing each other, so you want to turn one inside out and one right side out, okay? Remember, I've already pre-ironed these. You want to put them in together. So just shove one in there gently. And you want to line up all your seams. And so I like to just grab a pin. First I start with the side seams. And then I kind of give it a little tug and line up the middle seam on the front. And then I line up the seam on the back. So what we're gonna do is, now we're gonna pay attention to that bib placement marking, but really all you have to do is find the front, okay? And you wanna measure the center of your bib. So you fold the bib in half and you mark it with a pin, okay? You find the center seam. And then what I like to do is I grab a pin and I pin the pant closed. Actually, I use 2 pins to mark where to stop. Okay? So, back to this. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to pin this fabric together where we are going to stop sewing. Okay? So the bib is not part of this yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on this side and stitch all the way around to the other side and stop. And I'm not going to sew right here, okay? So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Now we're going to flip the inside to the outside, okay? So, flip it. You want to flip it so wrong sides are together. So, we have this. This seam is now folded in. What we want to do is fold in the front on both sides, the lining and the outer layer. This is where it gets a little tricky. Again, it's better if you lay your piece out so you can see that the rickrack is in front of the straps. So mine is not, I need to flip it. Okay, I left my center pin here because I'm going to need it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch the front piece, I'm not including the lining. And now this is attached and it looks really pretty. Okay, and we're just gonna pull it tight. You can iron it or you can just press it flat, it's fine. Either way is fine. You wanna cover up that stitching. Now you can either use a machine to top stitch all the way around, or if you want it to look beautiful, we're gonna get a needle out and we're gonna hand sew this. Sew backwards, so we're gonna just alright, so the stitch is you grab some from the top, going this way. That's where my stitch is. Now I'm coming back here. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side of the fabric. And make sure my thread is down here. I'm going to do this same stitch. Oopsie. Oh, all these pins are going to drive me nuts. If your toddler sees stitching on here that you put on, maybe they'll think to themselves, oh, somebody handmade this for me. And they'll be very happy to have something that nobody else has, because whichever version of this you're gonna make, no matter how you make it, is gonna be very unique. Fabric you choose, or lace embellishments, or any of those things. Oh, I should also mention, we're not going through to the other side. We don't want to see it on the other side. Okay, we are just doing this little catch stitch just to close this up, so you can see. Can you see it? How pretty that looks. This is where we're at right now. You can iron that down, it'll look really beautiful. I recommend ironing it down actually. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna finish these straps. I just got these big buttons in the clearance section, so we're gonna use these. Alright, now you can baste that if you want to, you don't need to, but you can if you like it. We're gonna do a bias tape hem. It's really bulky right there because I didn't cut off the excess. And you don't really have to. You can if you want to, if you want it to be nicer. Okay, so that's what that's gonna look like, and we're gonna do a seam around that, and then it'll be done.